Hello, hello, and welcome. I hope you're having a great week. We seem to have lots of birthdays going on around here, so it's been a party. We even had a birthday breakfast this morning, so lots of birthday stuff going on around here. Um, anyway, hope you're having a great week. Those of you that are in my Christmas card club, you actually get a bonus tonight. If you're not in there, believe it or not, we are making a Christmas card. I know that seems really crazy. It's only August, but I've been knee deep in the cards for the August Christmas card club. Say that three times fast. Hey, Susan. And I'm on a roll. So we're going to do a Christmas card. So, first of all, this is one of the stamp sets for this month. And those of you that are in the card club, this is not one of our cards for the club. This is an extra one. And I just was using this stamp set a bunch and thought, oh, well, this will be cute. So I wanted to keep it really easy. Because sometimes when you're doing cards, you want to do a bunch of them and you don't want to have to be big shotting for days and days. So this one uses punches. Susan, I know. Oh, I'm glad it got to you today. Some people are starting to get them. Aren't they amazing? I'm having such a hard time. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so the punches that we're using are really basic punches. The one that I've, since day one, this is my fave, and it hasn't gone anywhere, and it's still one of the ones I turn to every single time. It's the triple banner punch, but we're going to use it in a little bit different way today. So there's that one. I'm using my 2 circle punches, the 2-inch and 2 1/4 inch. And I'm also using the little scallop circle, which is 1 3/8. So it's just a good collection of circle punches in different shapes and sizes. If you don't have all of them, you could use one. It would be okay. This is one of the stamp sets. It's called Lots of Cheer. It's from the annual catalog. So all of you can pick this one up if you like it. If you are into the coloring at all, like me, it's lots of great images to color. Some really cool fonts. I like this one. It doesn't have, it's not a bundle. It doesn't have dies that go with it or anything. It's just a really cute card. Makes up really cute cards. So here's our card. And again, not necessarily using Screaming Christmas color. I am using the Rococo Rose. And I did this in Shaded Spruce, but we're gonna use Mossy Meadow. So it might be a little bit deeper green than that one. All right, so some of the things that you're gonna want for this. I grabbed 2 sets of blends. Now, if you don't have your blends yet and you haven't picked them up, you could use your markers. You could use your watercolor pencils. You could also use your aqua painter. And I use the aqua painter on this. And if you look super close, you'll see that I made the mistake. Well, I kind of like it, but I made the mistake of stamping it in my regular ink. And then when I brought in the aqua painter, it kind of bled a little bit. So we're going to do it a little bit different, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to get 2 different looks. So you might want an aqua painter. These come in a bundle of 2, a fine point and a little flat point. Hey, Vicki. All right, what else are we using? Some Memento, of course, because we're going to color with blends. Mossy Meadow. But you don't necessarily need the Mossy Meadow, but you might want it. And then some snail or stamps, which I've already got on the blocks. And then the paper that we're using, this is the new 2019 to 2021 in colors. They come in 6x6. I had these the other day too. They're just great. They're in all those great colors. So Seaside Spray, this is a test I will fail. Pretty Peacock, Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile, and Purple Posy. Got them. So they're great, really basic. They coordinate with what you're using. So I took a piece of that. Oh, let's start at the bottom. We're going to start with our card, which is 8.5 by 11, cut in half. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to score at 4.25. And I'm just going to grab my trimmer and use the scoring part of that. So 4.25. All right. And then I'm going to go with the piece of the In Color Designer Series paper, and that is cut to 4 by 5.25 to fit right on the front. This is that same basic card sketch that I use over and over and over again. It's just a really great way. Now, if I only have this piece of paper, I could use my punches to get these coordinating colors out of this middle piece, right? Because I'm going to cover it up with this. So I just need to make sure that I'm in beyond where this cover up's going to go. So I'm going to use my 2-inch and my scalloped 1 3/8. So I'm going to scooch you in as far as you'll go. Make sure it's not going to show when I do it. Here's one. And I'm going to take you and scooch you in too. Make sure you're not going to show. And then this looks really icky, but it's going to go on the inside of the it's going to go underneath. It's not even going to show. So let's snail this up. Oopsie. Put this in here, line it up. There we go. Now, I could just pop this down, but I decided to use one of the embossing folders. So I used the bricks, kind of thinking this would look sort of like a brick wall, and then I was going to bring in the wreath. You know, kind of use your imagination. It could be on the front of your house, right? All right, so remember when I'm using the thicker, this does get confusing because our embossing folders now don't say that other S name on them, that other company that used to make them. We make them now, so they just say Stampin' Up! On them. So when you're going to use them, you're going to want this great blue pad. This isn't in the catalog, but if you search for it online, and I'll put the link again, this just makes it your sandwich of what you're putting together so much easier. You don't have to try and figure out, do I need a shim? Do I need an extra? I hate all that part. So you use your Big Shot, you use your regular platform, not the heavier one. And I'm going to take this, and you have to think about which way do you want the bricks to go. I want this to be the way my card goes. So there's this great line right here on my folder, so I make sure I get it straight because you don't want your wall to fall down. So you can see my brick wall is going to be nice and straight on that line. Pop it in and run it through. Alrighty. So now I'm ready. This one is brick and mortar. I really like this one because you can see it gives you different depths of your bricks, and it's really a cool piece. I like that. So that's going to go like this, but I'm not going to stick it down just yet because I want this ribbon to go on top. It's not really even ribbon. What's it called? It's flax ribbon. This comes in a white, but it colors really well if you wanted it to match. You can color it with the blends if you were thinking you wanted a different color. Let me just show you. I didn't on my card, but let's grab a silicone mat. And let's put this down, and let's say we want this to be, well, I have a lot of the Rococo Rose, so maybe I want to make this my green. So let's try, I have light Mossy Meadow and dark Mossy Meadow. I'm going to start with light and see what it looks like, and I'm going to use the brush end, and you're just going to color in your ribbon. And then you let it dry. You can also, if you have your ink refills, you could put this in a little Ziploc with a couple of drops of ink. That would work. All right, then flip it over. So it's kind of a cool way if you are like me and you like everything to match. This is a great way to get it if you don't have all your matching ribbon. Okay? Alrighty. So now we gotta let this dry a little bit so it doesn't get all over us. I'm going to let it sit here for a minute. We'll go on to something else and we'll come back. So I'm not going to attach this yet because I'm going to put the ribbon down, but we'll just set this aside and we'll let the ribbon dry. And the next thing, remember I have my circles that I punched those already. I need a piece of just scrap Whisper White, enough to stamp my wreath on. So I'm going to go down here in the scrap pile. See what I have. Oh, that's very vanilla. It would work, but I don't want that one. Alrighty. And I need one more thing. Where are you? I need this. Okay, we're getting organized here. The only reason I need this is because remember I work on this bumpy surface with my tiles and it doesn't stamp very well. And I'm going to use some Memento. Hey Shelly. Ink this up. And stamp it on. And I want to let that dry, but I want to show you one more thing. So we're going to set that aside for a second, and let's clean this from the Memento. This is Stampin' Mist. Definitely love my Stampin' Scrub. That's what this is. Remember, you can clean, take these little pads out and wash them and let them dry. Just rinse them under the sink, maybe a little bit of dishwashing liquid, and then rinse them. You don't have to get carried away, just scrub it with your fingers. You'll see the amazing rainbow of colors that will come out. But then they'll dry and you'll be all set. All right, so now, and I love the smell of this one. It smells really pretty. Mossy Meadow. I want to show you a couple of different ways to finish this wreath. Okay, so we're stamping him with Mossy Meadow. All right. So now I could, I don't know if you can see the difference. This is the Memento Black and this is Mossy Meadow. Now, while this one's drying, before I come in with the blends, I'm going to show you what you could do with the Aqua Painter. Now, in the old ink pads, you used to be able to take them like this and squeeze them. Either I got weak or they just don't do it. I can't, as try as I may, I never get, oh, look at that. I don't know my own strength tonight. That's what you want to do. I just really struggle doing it usually. You want to just get a little bit, and this is going to be your palette. Then you're going to squeeze a little bit of water. When I squeeze this, you'll see a couple of drops come out. And now I have this great little painting palette. Before you put this away, you'll take a paper towel and dry that out. But I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start to paint. Because I'm doing the same color as the ink that I stamped, if it does smear a little, it's not going to hurt. So this is a great way to have lots of colors, because then you would have every pen, every color with the aqua painters. Now they're not going to look the way the blends look. They look a little bit more watercolory, but they're kind of cool. Alright, so then, and you can take your time and get it a little bit better than I'm doing. Whoops, I missed you in here. Alright, so that's one way. And then when you get to your paper towel, just wipe this off till it's clear and you're all set. Put your cap back on and it just holds, and you refill it really easy. They're $17 for two, I think. It's about that. And we're all set. Put you away. So that's one way to color in this stamp set. And then I could grab the Rococo Rose and do the ribbon. Or maybe I want a different color ribbon that would kind of coordinate. So now this is dry. So let's come down here to our blends. And I'm going to start with the light. I'm going to do my ribbon in Rococo Rose with this one, and I'm using the brush end. I was trying to think. I didn't want to say the fat end. And we're just going to color. And I'm going to color the whole thing. Then I'm going to come back with the dark color, the darker blend, and highlight, but I'm going to let the lines of the stamp tell me where to highlight. Okay. And then I'm also going to highlight where I just was coloring inside the bow, because that would be darker. That won't get as much light in there, but I'm going to use the darker of the two blends. The reason I love these blends is I don't have to try and figure out what's the contrasting color, what do I need to get it darker. I know it's the dark version of it. And you just lay down some dark color, and then you're going to come back with the light and blend it in. And go over it with the light, and then once the alcohol evaporates and it dries, it will live up to its name and it will blend. Alright, so there's that one. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my Mossy Meadow. And color in the bells part of the wreath. You could do this in any color. You don't have to. I thought it would look cool if it was green, so it was like a wreath, but honestly, they could be silver bells. Now we don't have a silver color, but we do have our light gray. And then add some Wink of Stella on top of it to make them shine. I'm also going to take my color lifter after and come in and try and give a little bit of highlight to these because they're round. So I probably am not going to do a ton of that while you guys are here because I don't want you to have to watch me color, but I'll give you an idea. So, and I tend to go bell at a time. I could just color around, but I think it's easier to stay in the lines if you do little spaces. Now we need the dark one. And again, the parts that are kind of under the bow are going to be a little bit darker. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'm going to kind of do the ones in the back a little bit darker, because they're going to be shadowed, trying to figure out which ones are lighter, which ones are darker. Blend them in, just like the other one. A little bit of circles. Right, and then my color lifter is not that. This is color lifter. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to kind of push the color rather than lift it. Let me zoom in a little more so you can see better. All right, so I'm going to kind of pick spots that I want to be highlighted, and I'm going to try and push the color towards the darker part. The whole idea is almost like variegated ribbon. You're going to want to get a little bit lighter, and this just gives you a third option, because you have light and dark, and then you can throw this in for a little bit more. All right. Okay. And then a little wink of Stella. Never heard any. So it's two different looks, right? This one almost looks watercolory, and this one is the blend, so it's kind of a more vibrant. And then wink of Stella. Now, see where I kind of boo-booed right here? You could think it was it bled in, but it was me. I colored into that a little. So I can try and push in a little bit here too. I can try pushing that away, or we'll make it hide in a minute. All right, so there's our two wreath options. I didn't color this top part, but I can. And then I'm going to take the 2 1/4 inch punch, and you'll see that that fits right around the wreath nicely. I might as well pop this baby out too while we're here. All right, let's see how our ribbon is drying over here. Looks pretty cool, right? I do too, Mary Lou. They are my favorites. I do love them. So what I do with this is I just take a regular pen, and I'm going to tie it in the middle. This stuff is pretty thick, so you really only need to tie it once. If I was using a thinner ribbon, I would probably do it twice, but that's not really going to go anywhere. I'm going to slide it off, and I'm going to put a glue dot right there, maybe a couple, because I want it to stay in place when I glue this down. All right. Now I need this piece, and I'm going to glue this right there and flip this over. And some snail. And I want to make sure that it's straight on the other side, so I'm going to flip it back over, make sure I'm where I want it. And then my scissors. All right, I'm going to grab some dimensionals. and pop these on the back, and then we're going to put this on the front of our card. It's going to hold our ribbon in place, and it's going to decorate the front of our card and cover up those spaces that we cut out. Right? And I know this isn't really a traditional Christmas color, but I kind of like it. And we're going to pop that on the front. And now we're going to bring this baby in. And put these on. All right, so before I put the other ones on, I'll slide that right there. Before I put the other ones down, I did not do it on this one. So this one looks kind of pastel-y. I used that same kind of coloring as I did this one. I just used a different ink. But I'm going to take and add a little color to the outside of that using my Mossy Meadow, just to make them stand up a little bit more off the page. If you don't like the pink and green and you wanted to go with the same color as the paper, you could do that too. This is the Rococo Rose. Whoops, move up so you're in the camera, little buddy. It's your debut. All right, so we get kind of a different look by adding that. Bring these guys in. And we're just going to snail this and slide it under. It's just adding a little bit more dimension to what we got going on. And one of these. And then we need our sentiment, which I just took a piece left over from the Whisper White. And the sentiment I have says, I don't remember, lots of cheer at Christmas and always. And I am going to use the Mossy Meadow and put that down on here. Now I'm just going to stamp it on, and we'll figure out how we're going to make it look better as in our banner after. This is a pretty wet ink pad, so I'm just going to pop that down. And you're thinking that is not straight, but we're going to do some snipping, so it's going to be fine. Now, if you are not happy with your scissor cutting, you can use your trimmer. I'm going to get this stuff out of my way. And you can trim it, or you can take your scissors, whatever you're better at, and you're just going to cut so it's straight now. And I'm not worried about the ends yet. I'm going to cut this. If you don't like the way you cut and you feel like it's really crooked, long handled scissors work better because you don't have to be quite as straight all the way along. So you can just take long handled scissors, and then it's probably only 1 or 2 snips. All right. And then the ends look really icky, right? Okay. That's where, again, this triple banner comes into play. You're going to hold it upside down, and you're going to slide this in, because this is skinny. I'm going to slide it in so I can see what's happening. Figure out where my stamp is. Do you see it? There's my stamp ink. So pull it back a little. Get it in the middle. Ta-da! I'm going to do the same on the other end. Get out of there. So slide it in. There's your stamping. Come back a little. Hold it in place till you're ready. And now you have this awesome, cute little banner. And then, remember I said over here that I had this kind of boo-boo that I wasn't really crazy about? I'm just going to put my little sash right across there. Nobody's going to see it. So I'm going to flip this over, add some snail, and pop that right in. Whoops, I need to move just a little. Now clearly I could put it anywhere I wanted. It could come down here. So there's our 2 cards. This is something that you could do and mass produce. You could make many of these. You don't have to color. The stamp is called Lots of Cheer. And it's got this really super cute snowman. It's got the ornament. All of them are great for coloring too. So you could color with your watercolors or the aqua painter, and then you could color in 2 different colors. Oops, I forgot I didn't snip this. You could leave it like this, but I usually snip you and get us our bow. All right? Remember, you've got really great embellishments that you can always add too. The cute little metallic pearls look really cute, and it's super simple. So those of you in the Christmas Club, add this one to your list, although it's not one of the 5 that we're going to have. But super easy. I'm trying to find him. Where's the one that is already made that I can give you the sneak peek of? Oh, he's right here. This is one of the ones that the Christmas Card Club is going to be doing. So how this works is you place a $50 order, anything you need, although I tell you what they are, and then you go ahead and place your order. It gets shipped to you. I put together all the pieces pre-cut, ready to go for you to put your cards together. You'll have to stamp, but everything else is done for you. All right, everybody. And oh, we are doing the Christmas card one, but as soon as that one's done, we'll be doing some regular cards. So the club will be offered every month. It'll just be different themed cards, and you can choose. You won't have to sign up for the 3 months like you did. You can pop in and out. Alrighty? I know, I love this one. He's super cute. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. Bye.